the more you begin to see we've been lied to. We've been lied to by every institution. What makes you think for 1 minute that the religious institution is the only one that's never been touched? You can bet your bottom dollar that the religious institutions of this world are at the bottom.
Eventually, my entire Jordan Maxwell collection will be there. These are my personal videos, stuff that I collected over the years. He's been someone such as him and David Icke, been someone who I've been really studying a lot about, is how we got here today. So let's get into the conversation. So make sure that you go to thesecrets.tv and get your access. There's already a couple of Jordan Maxwell videos up now, and I'll drop some every week from now on. Things you won't find anywhere else. You're not going to find these things. They're just out of circulation. But not just him. There will be a lot of esoteric stuff on 9/11, stuff that they took off the news, the truth. There will be just audio, different stuff that's going to be there that I think it's a journey. And the reason I did this was because there's a lot of you that support this show financially. I like to do what I call reciprocity, and also create an avenue where people are going to get some information even at your time. So this will be for any of you who want to support. That does frequently, when you do cash apps or whatever, I appreciate it because it helps me in and out. But I really appreciate those you who will go ahead and get access to that, because then it's going to give you insight on different things, and you'll find out as we go into this conversation. Tonight, I'm going to share some of this presentation that Jordan Maxwell did back in 2001. So that's like 20 something years ago. And it was a place that he spoke a little bit about the truth, especially when it comes down into our background in religion, but also what could be happening as we go through this toward the end of the show, tied into the fires today. And this is going to be an interactive conversation. So when I play a couple of these clips, ask your opinion. Let's talk together in the chat, and because we're going on this journey together. But we also going to learn together, and no better person to learn from when it comes to esoteric knowledge and things than the greatness of him. And he's no longer with us, but at this time, there's a lot of people that's not going to have access to the memories and the things that he had, but I do. Especially if our inner circle, you know, if you all are in this inner circle, you have all of these 20,000 stuff. So I'm just putting just certain videos in the collective for us. So hopefully at this point, you guys decide that that's something you're going to do. I think you should, each and every one of you, when it comes down to it. So like I said, I'm going to play a clip, and I got plenty of them, and then we're going to discuss where we're going to go with this. Now, the first part of this, Jordan talks about natural laws. He talks about how the universe really works and how our lack of understanding makes this really difficult. But also, like I said, it's going to lead into, as we go on with this show tonight, what is happening in California possibly, and what happened in Hawaii. It's like he already knew, yeah, you heard me, that things like this was about, or was coming, or did, or now have happened. So let's get into the first clip.
The divine presence in the universe I have the highest of respect for. But I also understand that God can be very cold, very crass. You break the law, what goes around comes around. You may be a wonderful person, you may be very sincere, you may have done wonderful things, you break the law, and what goes around comes around. There's no escaping divine retribution, period, because it's impersonal. It is totally impersonal. If you jump off a building, you're going to get your comeuppance quickly. If you do something against your friend, your family, your wife, your husband, or whatever, it may take a couple of weeks for it to come back to you. It may take a month or two. But whatever it is you put out there will come back.
All right, so the first thing I think he was talking about was karma. Now, like I said, we're going to tie some stuff in later to all of this fire. So I'm not saying what happened to these people got anything to do with this particular part or the next few parts that we're going to play. But what are y'all thoughts about that? What do you think about what he's saying already? the universal law, and which could tie into a lot of stuff that's happening today. Are things happening today because of karma? Or we're talking on a global scale though, right? We're not just talking about individual in your life, my life. What about the earth and things that are happening on a global scale? Could we be dealing with a karma type thing? Put your chats in here. I know it's a delay a little bit, so I'll wait a little bit, but hopefully you all will get involved, because otherwise I'm just going to give you my perspective, which is cool. But you know how I feel about truth versus authority. Truth is the truth, but also I always suggest that you go out and get your own information. My job is to give you enough information you can see, hear, read, or understand to give you the interest in going a little further in your search for knowledge to create the possibilities of information. So, but regardless, he talks about that when we talk about karma and if it's not following the universe. Now, yeah, he mentioned husband, wife, this and that, and we all know, what happens in that world. But we're going to talk more on a global scale, though. We know what is happening out here today in the world. Are we all as a collective a part of some karma approach? And are things out? Diana says, yes, you get in what you put out. Kristen said exactly to Diana. So what I'm saying is, could it be? What do y'all think about that? What ideas, as we move on, I'll cross some stuff in the chat where it comes back to those situations, to what is happening today. Because he talks about the truth being the truth. And when he says this, I think it's really important. Now, where we're taking this from today, so that y'all know, comes from a show that was called good Lord, I forget the name, but he did it, a presentation that you cannot find it anywhere. It's not anywhere else, but I have the whole 3 hours. We're not talking about the whole, I watched a lot of it, but what we're talking about tonight is in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the show. He's going really deep, but if you want to see the whole 3 hours, then you can get access in the Patreon. It's a Patreon / Truth versus Authorities, the all access esoteric or knowledge pass. And there, every week there will be a new drop so that you do that. But anyway, and there's already a couple of his other videos there too. So, and he did one about UFOs and all that. I thought that was just so freaking interesting. And here's a quick clip from that one.
That's what they put on television. And that creates an unreal perception.
And it takes our we do not focus really on the government. We focus on the fear more
Exactly.
or less,
Right.
instead
Why do you
of
think
digging into our own power.
Why do you think that the justice system in California is called the criminal justice system? California criminal justice.
Yeah.
It's my perception that we are being given the justice by criminals. And they tell us that they have to let...
Now, this was 20-something years ago, and now we see what's happening in California. I'm not saying they all pay attention to, but just his base of words and talking about it. That whole video is about an hour or so. It's an interview that they did at a show, and man, they was going at it. That's also in that archives, The Secrets. So again, if you want access to it, you can go over to Patreon / Truth versus Authority and check that out. In fact, I'll just put the banner back up. But anyway, let's go back into the conversation of what I'm talking about. Here's where you'll find it. Just go there, get your membership, and you can watch. There's already 5 or 6 hours of his stuff there already. I've already loaded for you to enjoy. But let's go back to a part of this. And let me just play the next clip. And it's all about him saying the truth is the truth when it comes down to what is happening. It's about 20 seconds.
And unless and until you are doing what is right before divine universe, before the divine, unless, of course, you understand that truth stands on its own and truth does not need to be validated by ignorance. Whatever is true, it's true. And if you back away from it, that's your problem.
Now, reason why I thought that was really great. So you remember when we not talked about, but in this California stuff, I'm using this as a parallel to this whole thing tonight. I watched a clip of a firefighter or some type of whatever, And he was sitting there talking about how they had 25 fire. He was the person in charge. He said, I had 25 fire trucks. I had all of these things there. We had all of these people in place. We had this. He put the strategic plan together. And then he said, we had no water. Now, oftentimes we can hear things in the media. Oh, there's the fire. Remember, I always told you, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. Never focus on what is happening anymore. Remember, I said that all the years that we've been here, that I want the audience to begin to focus on why. There is nothing important in any situation more important than the why. Why did that water get cut off? Why did they not have any water? Now, that's a whole different story than people listening, oh, the water didn't work. The water didn't work. And you still hear that all over social media. Oh, the water didn't work. Ain't nobody asking why did it not work? Because just like he said, the criminals and the people that's in place, there's a bigger thing happening here for somebody to authorize during a flame out that the water everywhere in that area was off. And we're not talking one pipe. Oh, it was just one pipe that was cut off and all of a sudden it's off everywhere. You get what I'm saying? So that let us know there's other stuff there. Clark said, yeah, it seems that there's always droughts in California. Maxwell was told that he wasn't from here. Yeah, I'm sure he probably was a Palladian or something, you know, as you can say. But yeah, there was no water. Go find the videos, Clark. They said there was just no water. So I thought that was pretty profound that there was places there was no water. But as we go into this, as we go into more things that we're going to be doing, like I said, it's all about esoteric knowledge. And when you hear the word occult, we tend to cringe because, you know, but it actually has its definition. And here is him explaining that as well.
Occult simply means hidden, those things which are hidden. And I've been involved in researching and studying and living with the occult world for some 42 years. And something I have learned is that when you think you know it all, you haven't got any of it. And when you think you've got it all figured out, no, there's one higher than the high one who looks on and you don't have it yet.
And see, that goes back to the pyramid. Y'all, if you remember how a pyramid is shaped, David Icke talks about this all the time. He talks about not just the secret society of Masonry and how all of that is embedded into all of these different secret societies, but he talks about how things are being ran on this planet, and that there is a pyramid. Every time we think that there is a hierarchy or top, there's another one, another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And even secret societies run that way. They are put together to where some of the people in some of the even upper echelon of these things don't even know who's up above them. They just keep, it's compartmentalized like this, almost like the government operates the same way. This is why we had a problem with the UFO stuff a while back, because what was happening was we had this particular, the Navy, we had the Army, we had the Marine, everybody would get crash retrievals and they would put it into their own cubby hole, and no one was sharing their information. Now, we know we're supposed to be one nation under God, right? Okay, whatever, but that's not how the government and the powers operate. So what he's saying, exactly what we're talking about, is that people that goes deeper. So the scary part or the informational part of this is oftentimes we are listening to a lot of these people who say they know God, they know everything, they know all of the history and the powers. And sometimes we believe that, or we have. I know I have back in the past. But as I go deeper in what I do now today, I know the more that I think I knew is more that I know I don't know. You get what I'm saying? But every day you discover something you didn't know. So it's no longer about and I'll get a call every now and then. Somebody says, oh man, I know this thing back and forth. I know this. And those people I don't really listen to. Now, if it's a particular subject, okay, if they're an expert in this arena, but if they start talking about this universe and this God that we have, that is our God and that's over everything, and they know everything about God, they do not know. And here's something that he talks about that as well.
And I've had some very, very brilliant people in my life to help me. And this one teacher said that if you can tell an audience something about God so that the whole audience can understand it, then that will prove conclusively that you don't know anything. Because any pea-sized, ignorant, ill-informed, unread brain like yours cannot represent the divine presence in the universe. We do not know the hand of God. All we do know is that whatever you do comes back to you.
Okay, so once again, and to my sister Courtney's in the house, if you, I got a bunch of these videos I'm playing and getting some interpretation. If you're listening and you want to hop in and we can discuss this as we talk, you know how, you just go into the studio. We are connected, you know that, and you just pop in and I'll see you when you get down. But I know, you know, Courtney does her show at 7, so make sure you all still plugs into her show. And you're only going to find it exclusively now on her YouTube channel. So you won't see any more of her new things on Forbidden Knowledge. She's going to grow her particular channel and the brand that she's doing. And you're going to find exclusive content only on her channel. So make sure you all subscribe there. And if you've been over to Forbidden Knowledge, still, you know, of course, there's stuff there. I'm there, but come to her channel to watch other things. But anyway, Courtney, if you do decide, you can hop in. So once again, we're talking, he mentioned it too, that the God thing is so vast and it's so huge. And as we go deeper into the show tonight, he'll be talking about different stuff and what's controlling, what's happening in the real world. But once again, I think it was a good time today to discuss what is going on. And like I said, that this is from a 3-hour video. Oh my God. And you're talking some knowledge. So again, if you want to access it, go over to our Patreon, Truth versus Authority, and you will get your access and you can watch all 3 hours. And I got about 6 hours of stuff. And like I say, every Friday. Where do we go from there though? So do y'all think, the question for you in the audience, and please, you know, work with me on this. Do you think what is happening in California is result of some karma activity? And I'm not saying to the individuals who are just caught up in the middle of this, because there's a lot of people caught up in the middle of that stuff that's happening through this bigger picture. But do you think that because of what is happening from the global fires and tsunamis and of course, you ask me, I think some of this stuff is man-made, right? They're using technology, testing stuff, or what I call, you know, the Great Reset. We'll get into that a little deeper as well. But what do you think when it comes down to a lot of this going from there? Audio Rob says, Rob, I'm looking for more information as you speak. Rob, you have access to it. You're part of the inner circle. You got this information. So, you know, what I talk about today is there, and then there's a couple of other ones that y'all have. But what I'm saying is, Dr. Strange says, all right, Courtney says she'll be here in 5 minutes. Great. Dr. Strange said, if I was God, and I am, I will split myself into unlimited friends also. Okay. You can elaborate a little more on that and tell me where you're going with that. But I hear the statement, but just kind of give me a little more backside and I'll bring it up on the screen. So it is pretty much one of the things that I think that we need to look at is, why is some of this stuff really happening today? And once again, we got to be looking forward to what's going on. All right, so I'm gonna play another clip for you, and let's kind of get into this. It's about 20 seconds. We got a bunch of them, and each one we'll kind of break down to what is happening with what's going on in life. Because again, this is stuff he predicted 20 years ago. These are conversations that he was having 20 years ago, where they will not air a lot of his stuff. They did not put a lot of his stuff out there. That's why sometimes in certain places on YouTube, you can find some of his content. But luckily for me, I have been watching him for years and also knew other people, and have a collection over 50 of things that he's done and said in places he's been and spoke. Even he used to speak to small Black organizations in New York back in the day. And then he would speak to large churches and all different races. This dude was really out there doing his thing before his time, I would say today, because now is where we are evolving to. His information is, I think, is more needed. Let's play this 20 seconds.
There are certain immutable laws in the universe. And unless and until you are prepared to look at the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and wherever it may go, whoever it may lead to, if you want to look the other way or if you want to play favorites, then somewhere along the line you're going to find out you're messing with divine justice.
Now, that blew me away when I was watching this 3-hour video. When he starts saying we're messing with divine justice. Now, we're going to go deeper into this. That caught my attention because I'm like, wait a minute. Divine justice. Now, he goes a little deeper into this, but is justice being served? Where you remember in the Bible, they used to say that soon the head would be the tail would be the head, and all of this stuff. Now, again, I'm not a scholar in no kind of way, and I only put in pieces that I can remember, and I don't read the Bible religiously at all. But I just remember stuff like that because people would just repeat it and I was a parrot. Okay, well, head to be tail. Now, all I knew was someday some people's going to be in front and other people wouldn't be, but I don't know. But divine justice is a whole different word. Divine justice is huge. It has a whole different significant meaning of symbolism when he says that the world is being prepared for divine justice. Could that be lineage? Could that be all the way back to people hundreds of years ago where their families and bloodlines and all of this? Could there be is there a global reset? Now, I'm just throwing this out here. Maybe I'm throwing it out by myself and looking all crazy, and y'all, because it is still cold here in Dallas. But anyway, a divine justice. What would the true meaning of that be? Somebody look that up and put that in the chat here, and just kind of see where we are. Nina said, howdy. Rashad Bell said, I'm trying to tell him. I'm not for sure. Let me go back. If I missed anything, y'all can kind of put something in there, but I don't know if it meant for me. Yeah, Queen, whatever. Okay. So the whole point is I would just scroll in case I missed something because I did want to make this interactive track. All right. So the moderators, if there's anything in particular, make sure y'all do that. And there's a couple of more of you. If you want to be mods in the future, I need to add about 4 more mods. So if you do want to be a moderator, let me know. And I'll try to see how we can figure it out. But in the meantime, if you are a member, then definitely you qualify for being a mod. So I can see that if you want to be a mod and you have the membership on YouTube from there, and make sure that stays too, because we're going to start putting some good stuff in there as well. So okay, Ghost Globe said, okay, cool. We'll get you put in there. By tomorrow, just whatever, for Friday. But anyway, so what are we talking about? What are y'all thoughts when it comes down to divine justice? Tina said, my Bible scripture in the kingdom of God inside you and all around you. Okay, so this is not what people really think. Okay, so y'all having conversation with each other. That's cool. All right. So if you are talking to me, just say, Rod, whatever, like Rod Audio. I'll get with you in a little bit, brother. Courtney is on her way in, and then toward the end too, I'll bring it in so we don't have a lot of conversation. But I'll get you in here though tonight, so just hang around in a little bit, sooner than you think. All right, so let's go back to that. Now, one of the most important parts of this is when we think about what is going on, how all of the stuff is going on in this world. And got us feeling a certain way. A lot of us feel a whole certain way now. We may be feeling down. We don't know why. Now, I've studied that. Now, I studied the symbolism, all that. So I know why people are feeling, not why everyone. I know why I used to. Now that I use my protection, now that I understand symbolism. And by the way, I'm in my 7th day of the 10-day detox, and I feel freaking great. But I don't know if I could be eating rabbit food or, I'm going to incorporate some of the stuff that I'm doing, but I feel awfully great. I was at the gym last night and just did a couple of things without even thinking that I've done in a long time, the energy and all those stuff. And so, and even now, officially have lost, a lot since last year, since we started the journey. But anyway, so let's get down with what we're doing. I know 10 days. Oh my God, it is so difficult. Let me see. Courtney says, send her an invite. Okay, hang on. Let me do that. Let me send the invite to, what is my email address? Oh, wait a minute. Courtney, give me your email address and I'll do it from here. If it's a Gmail, right? Hang on a second. Let me get her to send me their email and we can do that. All right. So, or wait a minute. If I can log into my email, that'd be good too. All right. So, all right. But back to divine justice, you know, give me enough to really put some stuff together. Oh, hang on. Let me copy email. All right. So, what is this doing here? Hang on. Well, this is not working. All right. Let me do it like this then. This is crazy. All right. All right, we're coming. I got you. Hang on. All right. Someone said I watched your video about Planet Apes. Could this all be staged? It's possible. It is very possible. Okay, Courtney, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Nobody else click it, though. Y'all let Courtney click it and just hit it in the chat, and then we'll do that. That way you can get it really quick right now. Boom. All right, so I just put a link in there for Courtney to come in, hit the chat, and like I said, I'll invite some other ones later. If anybody else come in now, I'm going to put you out of the studio, but until I can organize it. All right, so Courtney's in the chat, so you can just pop on in from there. Regina's, you know, so let's go back. Someone said, I think Saturn. You know, Dr. Strange, you were really ahead of the game here, because we're going to get into Saturn that Jordan talks about in about 6 more clips. And he goes hard. And I'm going to show you guys some stuff that I think is all proportionate what's going on. And it is a crazy situation here when we do that. Let's see. Let me let her know. Check the chat. All right. Okay. So there you go. And let's go. I'm going to go into another video here in a minute to go into them, but I'm just checking the chat. Regina said, I watched your video about the Planet of the Apes and thought about Trump with his fist up after the alleged attempt of his life. Could this all be staged? You know what? I can't say staged, but I will say that there is a higher force at work that when I start studying gematria and the numbers that I'm going to start presenting to you all, you can predict some of this stuff that is happening and has been happening. And it is kind of an amazing part of all of this, what's happening in our world, right? And it really is. It's just an amazing things when it gets down to this. And I don't know how this stuff really goes down the way it does, but it is a lot of predictions. It is things that are happening in the future that they predicted in the past. You know, we talked about the Simpsons before, how a lot of stuff they put in the show. Now as I'm studying this stuff, I'm starting to see how they're doing this prediction. I can see that. And we may, and because you don't want to get in trouble with some of this crazy stuff, I think that, you know, we may even do a couple of gematras here one of these weeks and predict something that's coming, or show something that has already happened based on the numbers and letters and all of this stuff, because you can't make this stuff up. You can't. And it's not done by no humans. This is definitely supernatural. And let me just tell y'all now, if you haven't got to the point now to know that there is a higher force at work, there is a tremendous higher force at work. And we're not talking humans here. All right. Let's just stop it right now. There are bigger things and situations and stuff that is huge. And I'm not saying they're all friendly, and I'm not saying they're bad. So when we start thinking about what is happening in this world, there's parallel universes, there's portals, there's just so much that we're just small ants in a situation, okay? And it is huge, people. It is really huge. And if you're willing to go down that route, you really want to search the truth, then that's the hardest part it's going to be, because the truth is the truth. And I've said it before, that is the most difficult thing to be with, have a relationship with anyone, that you can give them enough information that something they thought all their lives wasn't to be true, that now they get enough information that is not true, and they can, grow into that new knowledge. Or the same as opposites, things that they thought was not true and they find out is true. Because when they get that cognitive dissonance and they can't evolve, and no matter what you say, it doesn't matter. These people are some challenge, especially if you're a truth seeker or you in this world dealing with some of the stuff that's happening today. And I think that's one of the things. Let me see if I can get Courtney in here some kind of way. I don't know how to. I'm trying to see. Oh, there she is. Oh, there she is. All right. So there you are.
Hi, friend. Oh my gosh, the drama of getting in. Let me tell you.
Well, you know what? I know what the drama is. I didn't think about it until I got your text. So
oh yeah,
we'll talk about that tomorrow.
I know, right? Hi,
Yeah.
friends. By the way, first of all, I'm so happy to see you, my friend, and everybody else. I saw Dr. Strange and Kristen and everybody on there. So it's always so fun to see you guys.
Well, when are you going to have your next live stream?
Well, it was at 7 p.m. Central today. It is 8:36 now in Oklahoma, and so it was about an hour and a half ago. And let me tell you guys, what is it, Kark? Hi, Kark, my friend. Yeah, that channel slowly building. I'm so excited about it. So thank you for giving me a shout out. Let me tell you
shout
that.
out. We're speaking the truth. So make sure y'all log and go. Everyone here and watching this now at this point, make sure y'all subscribe to her channel, watch some stuff. Her and I are doing a lot of stuff together, so we're going to be doing some things. Rashad Bell said he's in Dallas, so I'm in Dallas as well. Welcome. He watched something on Land Moon on the night of September the 9th. Yeah, that Demantra stuff. What we're doing tonight, we're talking about, I got a bunch of clips from Jordan Maxwell, and he's one of my all-time favorites. And also there's some scrolling across the screen for some of you. Like I told y'all, I have hundreds of his stuff, and 19,000 ebooks and all this stuff in here, but this is only for the inner circle. There's only a few of them have access to this, but I wanted the audience, Courtney, to have access to the knowledge. So I started a Patreon called The Secrets, and it's an all access pass. They can get a membership, and each week as we go over this, I'm placing some of his stuff that come from my personal archive. So right now, what we're talking about tonight is in there for them. It's a 3-hour presentation. We're not going over all that tonight, but they can watch it. And there's 2 other ones in there already. And once a week, I'll do drops and stuff. It's going to be the most powerful membership you guys can find when it comes down to esoteric knowledge, hidden information, stuff, truths on 911, stuff you won't find anywhere else. They took it off TV. I think the guy who gave him this worked for the CIA. I know he did.
I've never heard of him. I've never even heard of the guy. So now I need to.
Jordan Maxwell? You never heard of him?
Well,
when I play the next clip, you're going to see it. So let me play the next clip, and we'll talk about what he's saying right now. So, and his whole thing is there's deeper stuff behind the scenes that we need to pay attention to what is really happening. And that's his whole stuff. So let me play a 46-second clip of something he says.
So the point I want to make here is that too many times we have been led to understand and told things which are not true, but which are uncomfortable to confront. And consequently, we have been led into believing that the judicial system, we have educational system, judicial system. Incidentally, the word system comes from a Latin word. The Latins in Rome, the ancient Romans called their sewer the system. And this is where we get our word today, the system. Yeah. So we have an educational system and a judicial system, and consequently, that's where we are, is in a sewer.
What do you think about that? And I'll give you a comment first. Jordan has a way with what I call word magic, and he's done a lot of homework on the root of words from the systems, not systems, but what was created before we even thought about that these words had true meanings. And when they set all of this up, even in context for us to speak about today, it's all kind of going from there. So, for example, Courtney, the justice system, and I kind of wrote all this out because I look at it, and he talks about law enforcement and corrections, and that metaphorical connection to sewers might imply that the justice system isn't always served, or that system is used to dispose of people rather than rehabilitate them. So again, the root word came from Latin way back in the day. Systems was for sewer. We got the political system. So if y'all get where I'm going with this reference, it refers to the structure of government and how it operates. And the metaphor could suggest that politics is a dirty, we know that, or the system that is designed to benefit those in power. Once again, we have the economic system. So I started looking this up, deals with production, distribution, consumption of goods. The sewer metaphor might imply that wealth is concentrated at the top while others are left with the scraps, or the system is designed to exploit resources of people. Now we have the educational system. As Maxwell mentioned, this could, let me make sure I cut this off here. This could imply that education system is used for indoctrination and stifle critical thinking rather than fostering genuine learning. And now we got the healthcare system. And then we already know, like I said, today a lot of stuff is changing. So when you talk about the healthcare system, might suggest that the system is more concerned with profit instead of actual care, and designed to keep people sick rather than promote wellness. I'm going to end right there because I was watching a show called The Residents. I don't know if you ever seen that, Courtney, but it is the show of shows. It's all about hospital and these doctors and intern and resident doctors, but the show is about the doctors kicking people out of the hospital. They ain't got no insurance. Oh, they got to go. Oh, that's going to cost us too much. Everything is about money. And it's crazy when we think about that. But again, back to what he's saying. So now, what do you think when he talks about systems, and then when we see what is happening today? What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, now I need to go do a deep dive on this guy, and I see lots of other people saying that he's got such great information, and I'm so grateful for you to be bringing it to my attention for the first time. When you say this, to me, it sounds like I want to say, duh. Like it sounds like this guy has been far ahead of his time.
Oh yeah.
And yes, of course, I think we're all seeing this play out, right? In the hospitals, in politics, we're seeing it in how many of your kids are in school. I have a little one in school, and I can't even believe she's still in the public school system. I still cringe because I'm like, oh, I need to take her out. But we've been so conditioned thinking that that is the way, and almost as if we're a bad parent if we're not believing what has been ingrained in us. So I'm a firm believer in everything that you just said. It doesn't sound like conspiracy to me at all. It all sounds very much like truth. That's the way it feels. Yeah.
That is, remember we had our reading that we did the other day, and I was telling you about, I was doing, not just meditating, but trying to, do my out of body and call in knowledge. And he was one of the people that I was discussing. And he was one of the people, I was watching one of these videos, another one that I had already a year ago filed for the trademark, truth versus authority. I was being so aggressive about it, and I kind of stopped it a little bit. Then I came back. Now I'm like all in. And then I watched one of these videos in my collection the other day, remember? And he says, you got to understand, truth is the authority. And all I said, I did reach him.
Yes.
I did. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, how was this planet? And now it is absolute. But he breaks down not only just symbolism, and he tried to warn people that what we think is seeing is not what we see. And so I'm gonna play another. I got a few other ones, but this one he talks about divine judgment. And where I was going with that earlier, prior to you getting here, was divine justice, you know, I'm not saying it for the people in California that are caught in the middle, you know, collateral damages of stuff, but are we seeing this? And, you know, you, from your approach, could there be karma in life now that all of this massive stuff, now, only thing they're really showing on TV is these mansions getting burnt down. And we do see some smaller places, but we talked about it. There's people with $50,000 million stuff. And of course there's not, but this is California. And I can't really think about how can a fire move from here, and just keep going. But let's go back to divine justice. What are your thoughts, especially with you speaking to people from the other side?
How it feels to me. And first of all, to be in a situation like that where, you know, chaos ensues and we have our family, our children, I don't believe that all rich are bad people at all. I don't believe that. So I don't think that it's like a karma is coming for those heavier on the financial side necessarily. However, this is going to sound crazy to some, or maybe not to those listening here. But very often I think that, you know, we were warned by many people about, my child's coming here. We were warned that this was going to happen, especially following the events of the P. Diddy stuff. We were being told to watch for the fires coming up in California. And if you start to really follow the burst of those locations, it does not look like it's being made. The brush, very often the brush or the trees were not being burned. It just, the fire didn't look as though it was burning in a normal fire way. It does, there's a lot of questions around it. So do I think they're hiding things? I do. Do I believe, somebody said, true, not all rich people are bad. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
So that's right. However, I do believe that there are some underworkings that are not being released to everybody else right now. I think that there's a darker something happening here. And that doesn't mean that there weren't innocent people, of course, that lost so much, and our heart should go out. I think that humans, we can show up and care and in droves to help people. However, it does feel to me like it was a produced event. That's how it feels to me.
Well, I know we
yes.
talked a little bit about it, that the prediction of this, you know, it's almost like we go all the way back, and again, our hearts go out to 9/11. A place where 30,000 people on a given day would normally be in that building, and only 5,000 was there. It's almost like people knew, because they knew what was going to be happening, and the word got out, don't be here tomorrow, don't be here. But it's almost like, and I can't say this happened to the people who didn't know, but that it happens when we have our loners or people that don't have friends, and that's what everybody make friends now. Get in contact with people, because
your neighbors.
Yeah, being isolated because you just want to be by yourself, you know, all of this stuff. Get to know your neighbors, get to know some people. You know, if you don't have any friends at all, call me, text me. Okay. But the whole point is get to know somebody so that you know something and get some information. Because I do believe that a lot of people that got caught in that tragedy is because somebody just didn't tell them, because everybody else knew, or they didn't believe it. That's the other travesty of this, and we'll talk about this later. Now, moving that on to the fires, you and I talked about the insurance counseling people 2 months ago.
Well, even
it's like Kristen, they knew, right?
Oh no, absolutely. And even Kristen, I mean, they've been Maui'd. That's what happened, is they were just Maui'd. And so that's what happened. Kristen made a comment. Thank you, my friend, earlier. I'm going to say, I'm like, we don't want the podcast canceled or anything. But, you know, she said remote viewers said children in tunnels, sick stuff. That is exactly what's happening. And so
you mentioned that to me too in private. Yeah,
I did. I don't listen, guys, this is that kind of information is the podcast Roderick and I are about to go ahead and start, aren't we? We're going to be talking and diving into all of that stuff. Listen, I'm a spiritual advisor, a medium, and I connect with all of that information. And my gift here is to help people connect to their loved ones. Yes. However, all of this other stuff, personally, this is very much also what I'm into because it's truth. That's how it feels to me. And you're on point with that, Kristen. It is 100% like cover up. They're talking about trying to cover up tunnels. There are lots of things going down, and apparently there's going to be a huge arrest coming up. And I think that there's already been arrests, but those things have not been disclosed yet, right? And so it's huge. Also, what is the governor's name in California? Help me. Newsom.
Yeah.
So Newsom, apparently, like they had been calling in supplies the Sunday before this event in California happened. He is on the news referencing that they were preparing for this, that they had all of these things on standby. Well, why do you think that is? It is because this was an orchestrated event. 100%. And they are trying to do this whole look over here and don't look over here, because this over here is the thing that connects the children, the human trafficking. It connects all of this stuff that has been going on for so long. And my friends, it is all connected. It is all connected. Whether we're talking Epstein, Diddy, all of this is all connected, my friends. And it is sick. It is sick.
Well, it makes sense, though, if you have a tunnel, because I remember the guy was on a show. He was saying how he worked for some company and he was doing some work at one of the mansions and realized he saw the blueprints that his mansion, the mansion he was working on, and some other ones all had secret tunnels all the way over to Hugh Hefner's Playboy mansion. I'm like, well, what? You know, could you imagine? No, I'm just going to use me, not you. You and Mr. Brinkley is there, but I'm single. I could.
You'd be like, yes.
I could say that I'm in the house. I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm getting off the phone with one of my buddies. Hey man, if we just take a quick walk. Where you going? No, don't worry. You know, and I just go down the stairs and I walk down this tunnel and I come up in the Playboy mansion.
Yep. And they weren't just peddling bunnies over there either, by the way. That's exactly.
Hey, well, we know that. We know that. And that's a sad truth of what is happening out there. But just to know the fact that these fires are, and it's no better way to cover up something than a fire, because it obliterates everything. And if you got the house tore down and when those bulldozers come in, you will never see a tunnel access again. You won't see it. It ain't gonna burn the hole up, but you won't know where it was.
Yep.
And it's gone from that point. Now I will say the caveat to that, and we talked about it. If I own a mansion there worth $30 million and it's been on the market for 40 years, and I've been trying to sell it now, fire done burnt it up. Okay, but now that the insurance is not paying. Let me play another clip. We got plenty more. That this one gets a little different, and let's kind of play this, y'all.
Now, if we understand that government is corrupt, and God knows now even the most ignorant among this nation are finally waking up to the fact that the whole thing is corrupt. If we understand that government is corrupt, banks are corrupt, our law enforcement are corrupt, there's virtually no institution, our educational systems, no institutions in this country are above taking money under the table and looking the other way. And it's become a way of life, and soon it will be for America a way of death. Now, once you understand that the entire system we're living under is corrupt and filled with lies and deception, and now the best thing you could do if you're a politician is just kind of keep things going, just kind of keep paying people off and hoping everything will come out all right tomorrow. And little by little by little, what goes around comes around, and we are facing a terrible time of judgment, I believe, by the divine forces in the universe, which men have called God.
Now, and he predicted this kind of stuff. He's talking, and this is 20-some years ago. What are your thoughts about the corruption that we are seeing it. And remember, he said, now every day people should be waking up to like, man, this ain't right. What are your thoughts?
Well, Kristen just said, I love you, Kristen, tonight. This is great. Kristen said, CPS corrupt and involved. Yes, they all are. I had this conversation with Ethan this morning. Therapists, attorneys, police officers. I mean, yeah, and I mean, all walks of life are involved in hiding and contributing to these evil efforts, really. What's really interesting is to hear that gentleman speaking. What's funny is that video was long ago, right? Do you know when that was?
He did January 3rd, 2001. It was a 3-hour presentation. Okay. And before you get there, that's a great segue to share with people. So that introduced a new Patreon. It's called The Secrets. And you can get through it through patreon.com, Truth versus Authority, or thesecrets.tv. And you have access to all of these videos, even this 3-hour presentation. You all get your access membership. There's already 3 other Jordan Maxwell stuff there. I got 40 in here, 50, I think almost 100. And over time, we'll put those and other people's stuff that you won't find anywhere else that's old, out of date, but the most prolific information out there, so you guys can go to it. So well, go ahead. I'm sorry. That was just a good segue.
No, I'm glad you did that. He was referencing the world was waking up, or that people were kind of understanding this now. And my friends, that was 20 something years ago. That's crazy. And to think that maybe our parents knew. I think that we are all very often just sitting to the sideline, hoping and thinking somebody else will take care of it.
Right.
And so it kind of frustrates me to think that, wow, this information was out there then. And while I was maybe dabbling then in, the work that I do, metaphysical, the spiritual, even, multidimensional type efforts or whatever, but this criminal activity with those that run the system was really out there. I was not aware of that then. It took many years to understand how fully drenched this world is with all of that. And so I think it's important for us all to stand up for what's right, because we are in a spiritual war right now, and it has everything to do with that. It has everything to do with speaking up, having a voice. If you guys feel, joining Roderick's Patreon, making sure that you're watching and listening to those independent journalists that you feel you relate to the truth. And I'm not saying that's on either side, whatever you feel like is speaking for you. The world, this planet, the energy needs us all to be standing up and yelling really from the top of our lungs for what is good. And it's not good to keep people enslaved and caged and do what they just did in California, Mauiing people. And the scary thing is for a long time, there's a lot of psychics, mediums, mystics who have been actually declaring this for many, many years, especially happening on the West Coast first. And so talking about even California kind of sliding into the ocean. I saw something the other day. It was
the Andreas fault. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, somebody was sharing the other day, this person, she's a comedian actually, and she was saying, with all of this ash and all of this soot that is now on the ground, layers and layers of this dirt. And she said, what happens? She said February, March is, I guess it's the rainy season for California. She said, what's going to happen when the rain comes through? Already they deal with mudslides or this and that. And she said, what happens now that all of this is kind of on the land? Is that when everything goes? And my friends, listen, I always say, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Could you call me a prepper? Sure. Could you, all of that. I don't live in that space, but if anything happened there, my family has a plan. We have conversations about those things. And I don't think that's ridiculous. So, and I don't think that's also living in fear. I think it's everybody being careful. Be careful.
Wow. That, it's, I saw a chat earlier. I didn't know what they meant, but it says spare me the Roderick. So I didn't know how to respond to it. So hopefully they will put it back what they meant before I, be not responsive to
That could be
whatever.
a t-shirt. That could be a t-shirt. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see what they
you
mean
know
by
what?
it.
Yeah, and I take it as a good thing, pretty much from there. But I think one of the things that that he talks about, or his whole message is truth is truth. Is it? And I tell people all the time, truth versus authority. And I'm now re-echoing his message for the next 20 years, okay? That we oftentimes forget truth is the truth, but we think the authorities is the truth, or just because somebody's that authority. Now, I'm not saying that there's not good authority. There are some bad authority. And the bad authorities are positioning themselves to spell out bad truths. And we got a lot of people that are believing these things, and they carrying this into generations. They're carrying it into everyday lives. And it's like someone is out there saying it is time for us to see the truth. And people don't know what is the truth. The truth is anything that already happened. And if it already happened and you get the information of what happened, the truth of the information is the truth. Now, there's going to be several truths to something that happened, but if you get to the bottom of it, the why, because this is why when there is a crime and they show up to someone's house who's unalive and they've been having 6 slugs put in them, they know what happened, but they'll spend weeks to why it happened, because the why takes you on the whole journey, and it may take you into, it happened because because 2 hours ago someone else came by, that led all the way back to New York. So the why these fires are happening is what we need to look into more deeper, to focusing on the news showing us what is happening, because they're not saying why. The news never say that. They just go, what is happening? These fires. No, they can ask the question why. They got enough journalists to go, why is it happening in California? Then they'll get to what Courtney is saying. Because they're covering up the tunnels because of what happened with Puppet. This is a bigger deal. They won't go there because the why leads to the answers of other questions.
I don't believe we have journalists anymore. We don't have journalists that work
Probably
for
not.
mainstream media at all. I mean, that's my personal opinion. There's a few people that I follow, and I get my news and daily information from those that I trust that are seeking and asking those questions, Roderick. And I think that it's important to yes, question where it's coming from. Even that, guys, when we actually listen, I taught development classes for years. That doesn't mean that you necessarily the point of tuning in and learning your own energy isn't necessarily to do sessions or readings for people. It's sometimes to know what feels like truth to you. So when you heal your own junk, when we learn to take our space, set boundaries with the world around us, and to really learn about us and learn who we are, how we feel, heal from those hurts, pains, traumas, whatever, we've all had them, right? And then when we learn to be able to ask ourselves, how does this feel to me? And then let life start to show you the moments where you trusted yourself, you knew, you trusted that discernment that was coming in. And when you start to track that for yourself, you will become more, you will gain more confirmation for your own knowing, not needing anybody else to confirm anything for you. So in manners like this, when I feel passionate about something, it's typically because I feel something they're not talking about. When I'm like, oop, that's the thing, I know it. I don't walk around saying this is the end all be all, but I usually will say this is how it feels to me, because I'm also cool with it not being anybody else's truth, right? I was actually, somebody says, love George Norrie. I was on George Norrie's radio show on Coast to Coast years ago, back in, I think it was 2011. And that was like, oh my gosh, won the lottery. It was like the most amazing thing ever. But when we do that, we learn in our life discernment, call it psychic, call it intuitive understanding any of it. It's all the same thing. But you will be able to feel what truth feels like to you and be able to track, we'll see. And typically, if you track that and you write it down, or you kind of date things when you feel like, that feels like that's a something to me, write it down and see how it falls into place. That's very often how you're going to learn to start trusting yourself, because you're like, I knew there was something going on there. I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think earlier I wrote down a solar report or report that someone wrote in the chat earlier, but I was on George Norrie too. He did a whole show on me, specializing me being an African-American UFO investigator. So, and then I was on Regina Meredith as well, Open Minds. And that was
Do you know that well, she was an affiliate. I worked for a neurofeedback company for many, many years. And she and her then husband, they practiced even my own brain mapping. When I was at Brain State, they were affiliates, and she taught me how to do a pendulum. I mean, this was 2008. So I've known Regina before Regina was doing what Regina knows. This was so long ago, but she's a really cool person. Yeah. Really, really cool.
All right then. Well, back to Bell, Rochelle, he said something about kids always ask why. I talk about that a lot, where when we think about the programming that we're in today, our children wakes up, and this is sad to say, and me and Courtney have conversations the best we can, but this is why there's a lot of, movement of children. I'm using that word instead, but it's the innocent soul, the energy and everything else. And when we come into this world, we come in as innocent as we are and pure in the energy. And kids will always, no matter what you told them, they ask why you want me to do that? Why? And we take the programming that Jordan is talking about, and we beat the why out of our kids, literally. Don't ask me why. We program them getting ready for the systems. We get them ready by saying, don't ask me why, do what you told. Do what I told you to do. But they're so innocent because they're processing. And the fact that you may tell an 8-year-old or 6-year-old something, they go, why? And then you give them the answer, they go, well, that don't make sense. You be like,
it presents a new question. But doesn't it always then present a new question, and a new question, and a new question? And isn't that what I
just said? That right? Yeah, that's what the why does.
It never ends.
Yeah, and we as adults, we tend to take that out of them. So I got a bunch of more clips. We'll play the next one here with Jordan Maxwell. This one was a real quick, about 11 seconds. He just makes a statement that I thought was profound. And like I said, we got plenty more, and then we got some that's going to open us more into the California talk. Okay, so let's go with this one.
The more you begin to see, we've been lied to. We've been lied to by every institution. What makes you think for 1 minute that the religious institution is the only one that's never been touched? You can bet your bottom dollar that the religious institutions of this world are at the bottom of the dirt.
So that's why he's wasn't no TV. Now I guess this whole presentation, like I told y'all, is 3 hours long. So we don't have 3 hours for these other 5 to 6 clips that I have. But if you want to see the whole 3 hours, it's in it's there now in the secrets.tv. What do you think about what he just said?
Listen, that deep breath. I think, well, first of all, I was raised Southern Baptist. Some of you have probably heard me say that a million times. I really value a lot of the way I was raised. However, believe also that the church that I grew up in was very judgmental, was very controlling in many, many different ways, and was one of the places that actually was probably the most hurtful to my father after my mother passed. It was just really interesting to watch. As far as I do believe in God, I believe that we have that direct connection to God, to source. But I'm also a firm believer that if somebody grows up in Africa and calls it something different, or in another country somewhere and calls it something different, but it's of that same highest, most beautiful energy. That is the same. I had a neighbor one time tell me that somebody of Haiti was like a devil worshiper or something like that. I don't know what she said exactly, but I remember my mouth hitting the floor. I remember thinking, and she is somebody who was teaching in the church. She was somebody who I was shocked. And so I believe that there are people in the church that are beautiful people. And I believe that there are people in the church that are people who don't quite have it right either. And I think we have all walks of life. And I think that's when we have to understand, again, our own discernment, knowing and decide where we are, right? And so I do believe that the organized religion, it can be used to control. And I do believe that if we are truly connected to our heart and our soul, we will be able to discern the difference. That's how I feel. What do you think, Roderick?
I agree with you. And in the same presentation, I think that he goes into the history of religion, so to speak. And what he says, even though there's a lot of truth in religion, he said by the time we start getting it, it was rewritten and it was organized in a way for the people to control us with what they wanted to use as their tool. That we should go back and study as much as we can to find the true religion, so to speak, and the true understanding of God, the true understanding of who we are and what's going on, instead of listening once again to an authority that stands there. I was speaking with someone today, and she was mentioning, and you can hear in her voice that she was really saddened about preachers and pastors and certain things that knew the truth. And I said, if any pastor that I would think of, or bishop or whoever, that have studied like they have, it does not make any, I can't fathom, even if they went on some escapade to Israel or any of these places like some of them do, it does not, I can't imagine that they didn't find the truth on their pillage or what they were doing. And she said, well, why won't they tell the people? And I said, think about it. Some of these people got 10,000 people in their ministry. Let them come back and say, all this teaching I've been doing, all the things I've done is no longer what it really is. 9,000 walks out of the door and look for someone else to lie to them. And okay, you want to talk about money, but at the end of the day, money is not everything. We know that. We all know money is not everything. However, I rate it right up there with oxygen. So if they're trying to breathe, they're going to continue breathing in their mansions or whatever they're doing. And so the challenge is people understand to go. Okay. All right. So it is one of those things. And I think that's pretty much from there. I have a few more clips and stuff, but Courtney, I know you just kind of hopped on and just kind of whatever. So what did you got planned for this evening?
Well, I need to jump off and chat with a client real quick and make sure she's all good and settled. She had a couple of questions, so I'm going to chat with her for a moment. But the rest of the night, I'm done, Z's. This was a beautiful day of working and getting lots of things squared away. And I am so grateful I saw you on here and popped on and got to connect with so many of you guys. There are so many of you that were watching my podcast. I have transitioned from Forbidden Knowledge over to my own channel. And so it's something I'm really excited about. And Roderick, you've been really along every step of the way. It's something we've been chatting about. And it's because, sometimes when we're busy helping grow other brands, we're doing that, and that's wonderful and beautiful. I love that podcast, but I need to bring it to mine. And I'm so excited about the future of doing that. I've been doing this work for a really long time, and having really good supporters like you, Roderick, my friend, and say, Courtney, you got this. It means a lot.
You got it. You got it. You don't even have to use your own powers for that. You got this. And when is your next show?
Next Wednesday is the next recorded show. Ethan and we're going to do some love episodes coming up in February. I'm excited about that. So
all right now.
I know. We're going to record this weekend some of those, but I think we may pop on live this weekend. So look for that on YouTube. It's under Cosmically Connected with Courtney Kane Sides, and it's Courtney with no U. And so guys, I appreciate you. And friend, I love you. You know that, Roderick. And so anything, by the way, I shared this on my YouTube channel too, so hopefully my people will jump over and follow you as well.
Well, we're going to follow you. We're going to help build yours. So y'all know 7 o'clock next Wednesday, right?
7 p.m.
It'll be recorded,
7 p.m.
but
Central. Yep.
I would love to see that relationship thing, because I would love to ask Brother Brinkley if he ever just laid there. And this is, y'all put the children up for this one. Just lay there.
Wait just a second.
and just know that he you know what's coming next, because nobody, could you imagine just never saying a word during that process and things are just happening because he knows you know.
Well, let's just say that in our home, I will say this. I am not his spiritual advisor. I'm not his psychic. I'm not his medium. I'm his girl. I'm his almost wife. And so he is the masculine to my feminine, and I I love that he takes that space. So I in no way am intruding any of that on him, guys. Those energetic boundaries are so good. And I'm telling you, that's how when you're an empathic woman, when you have gifts and abilities, I'm telling you from experience, it is one of the best things that you can do is not be there everything in that way. All they want is for us to love them, and we want them to love us, and that's it. So yeah, we're going to go into all that. So Roderick, we have lots to chat about.
Yeah, I want that dog love, because I told people, like, my dog, I can be gone for days or 2 minutes, come back, and he's like he ain't seen me. It's just 2 minutes, and it's like, dude, I haven't seen you in so long. And that's that dog love. All right, I appreciate it. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege, my friend. And much love to you and the family. And we will talk. I love you too. And we will talk tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow.
I guess I had a dog, and you just said a dog puppy love. I'm like, where did you come from?
There you go.
Didn't even know he was in here tonight. All right, love you guys. See ya.
All right, good night. Bye. Good night. All right, so that's Courtney. We're going to support her show. We're going to support all the stuff that she does. Her and I are going to do a lot of things for the future as well. I'm collaborating with her. I'm collaborating with Brother Joseph. And let me put this up on the screen right now. He will be here. Here we go. This Friday. So he'll be here this Friday again. We was here last Friday. You guys enjoyed the conversation. We're going to do a lot of stuff together as well. So get ready. And once again, there's a lot of, and Dr. Strange mentioned, there's a lot of Jordan Maxwell stuff out there. You got to search for. But I'm putting it all in one place for you, my collection and things, because I think it's something you need to know. But not just him, though. We're starting with him. We're going to put a lot of stuff in that thing there. So, again, that'll be your way to support the show as well. And you don't have to do it once or twice here and there. But I appreciate all that. If you found value, you want to cash out the show, y'all do that. It's just a beautiful thing that have y'all supported me. But I'm now saying, let me put a little reciprocity and share knowledge, because that's what the truth is all about, and we're going to do that. So if you think that is something that you would like, you can, and let me know, and pretty much, and we'll continue. Now I got a bunch of more clips to show you tonight, and it's going to get deeper, because it's going to tie into what's happening with these fires, and it's unbelievable. Well, we can make it tie into what is happening, and it's something that we can do. Let's go with here first about, he's talking about why it's so hard for people, or people should confront the truth.
And consequently, the world is filled with violence, bloodshed, or disorder. Good people are dying. There are children who are starving. Our world is in trouble. And people are calling out to God for protection. People are calling out to God to help our nation, and never realizing for one moment that the divine presence in the universe not listening. Why? Because you have your own concepts of whatever you think is true, whatever you believe to be true, but you have never confronted the real truth.
Man, now that right there had me thinking. I don't know about y'all when you heard what he just said, and make sure y'all do subscribe to the channel and everything else and set your alerts. That really had me thinking when he said that. And for a minute, I was like, well, what do you mean? We're praying to God and you saying he's not listening? And then it hit me. It hit me that what he was saying was the God that we're praying to, that they have taught us to pray to, ain't listening. But if we get ourselves connected to one true God, then he hears you. But the way that they have taught us, the things that they have put in place, the mechanisms, all got us praying to the wrong place. Now they're praying, they're keeping themselves connected, but they want us disconnected. And I thought that was one of a powerful thing that he said. And like I said, he goes more into it in that whole 3 hours, and you should go check it out and many more stuff. But it hit me like I said, I was like, what? But it makes so much sense, because if we've been lied to and we've been told that God is over to the right, and everybody turns to the right and pray to the right every morning, every place, and we go digging for information in those places, but yet the secret is God is this way. Now, I know we can say, well, God is all over, he's everywhere. Well, that's fine. But if he wants us to be connected to him, to reach him, we have to do the shadow work to do that. And if they keep us disconnected, going in the wrong direction, it is a story. So I don't know. I just want you to think about that one. Give me your thoughts in the chat of what you think about that particular statement. It was so powerful. In fact, it renders me playing that again, because it was a wow moment for me. I don't know about you, but it was a wow moment for me. And let me play that again.
And consequently, the world is filled with violence, bloodshed, or disorder. Good people are dying. There are children who are starving. Our world is in trouble. And people are calling out to God for protection. People are calling out to God to help our nation, and never realizing for one moment that the divine presence in the universe not listening. Why? Because you have your own concepts of whatever you think is true, whatever you believe to be true, but you have never confronted the real truth.
Woo! Woo! Boy, I tell you what, truth is the truth. I know I'm on the right divine path of what I'm doing. I mean, I put a lot into the symbol to protect us, truth versus authority, and I remember telling people, well, you're going to change from high strangeness. No, it's bigger than just aliens and stuff now. This is real. And I feel more comfortable in what I'm doing and what I want to do. Now, and I'm going to share my intimate thoughts. I do have reservation of some things that I will share, because it's like, if it's that big of a secret and we see they're doing these things in a bigger way, what could they possibly do to a smaller person like myself, who maybe I may say some things, but you don't know when I may tell y'all something that they're going, they Scooby-Doo like, he don't know the truth or everything, but this right here that he's talking about, not this particular, but we may need to shut him down. Call my friend over at YouTube and shut that one down. That's the point where the challenge goes, because here's the truth. When Jordan Maxwell passed away and through his thing, he did not have financial security. They fixed it so that he wouldn't be able to monetize the message and put it out there bigger. And he talked about all the stuff in one of these videos I was watching that you have seen in those archives. He talked about how they came after him and all of it. And I'm not saying that that's something that I shouldn't worry about, but it does make me wonder, because I'm not in no position today to hire lawyers and big time and fight stuff if they do it on a legal way. My audience not big enough yet. Hopefully we share it. It gets hundreds of thousands of subscribers and sponsors, and then all of a sudden we can build our war chest and our purse. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. So when you see me offer little stuff or ask for support, just know that this is real, people. This is no joke. This is real stuff, to be digging in these things and then clicking out here and sharing with you things that there's not a lot, there's things in here that just can't be told. But just know that I'm treading it, and I'm going to do it because I'm not afraid of it. I just want to continue the legacy of what's happening and mix in a little Jordan Maxwell, a little David Icke, and a couple of other people, and then put this stuff out here into context, and we should do it. Jim says, Rod, you should look into having Michael Tarson on the podcast through. Well, that's fine. If anybody know people I should have, send me an email to contact@wildbigsecret, and then I can get other people to look them up and reach out to them. Just anyway, because this is a collector. I need everybody's help now. The 800 number is 888-345-9121. Start leaving messages. Start leaving stuff that we can support, because we're going to do it. Rod, your membership has gone up to, or not membership. This is subscribers. Membership is where people are contributing to the show. And predict 22.5 by tonight. Hey, well, let's do it. I love that Mark Passio. Mark Passio is one of my knowledge bases for natural law. Okay. And he's somebody that, if you don't know who that is, he speaks the truth, the natural laws, which we're going to talk about it here. That's another part of my truth versus authority. Mark Passio and a couple of other ones. And he's an extension of Jordan and a lot of these other people as well. So we're going to do that. Let's keep going. And we're going to go. Yeah, but I would love to reach out to him. If you can contact him and give me a contact, the way to contact him, please, everybody help out. Be producers of the show. And let's get some things out. All right, so we're going to play the next clip here. And he talks about things being right in front of us. This is where it's getting ready to take a darker turn. And this is where we're going to connect the dots when it gets down to and I saw my boy Daryl in there as well. Daryl, if you still here, give a shout out. He's been doing his podcast too. Daryl, if you didn't watch the video or y'all didn't know, he was the bishop, and he still is a bishop, but walked away from over 5 churches once he found out the truth. And remember, I just talked about how some of them won't do that. He is one of the good ones that did. If you were here, Daryl, that's fine. But anyway, this here is about 55 seconds. And this is part of this 3-hour presentation that he did that you can get access to, and I'm going to keep harping on that. But he says something that's leading me to what I think it's just for my thought, what is really going on, because it's now getting ready to get really dark. And if you're ready for this, put in the chat that you're ready, because it's going to take some mind for where we're about to go. So give me some thumbs up if y'all ready, because I got 5 or 6 more clips that is now going to take our conversation into some areas that is happening, I think, in the fires, but it's right in plain sight. Okay. Give me some thumbs up if you're ready to go there. And yep, I have that by Jordan. That's going to be in the things too. Well, of course, you know that already. Give me some more thumbs up. I need at least 10, 15 more people. We got 140 people in here tonight. Give me at least 10, 15. Daryl says he's ready. So we're going to start. He's part of the inner circle. He has access to the information and more. We needed 10, 15 people to do this eventually someday because it is so much data that he's looking at stuff. I'm looking at stuff. Now we can begin. Hey, did you see this? I discovered this. And because we cannot go. All right. So we have some, I'm in. Some saying you can't contact, he's deceased. Okay. Regina, that's fine. All right. So we got enough ready. So now we get ready to get deep. Put your shoes on, and he's getting ready to take this to a whole nother level, but in tune to what's going on today, 20-some years ago. This dude is the dude. That's all I can say. And let's go.
The real truth is that the people who are in power, who put this system together, have been in power for thousands of years. This has been going on from day one. I have the highest of respect for the Bible. Anyone who knows me knows I read it and study it all the time. But I'm also well aware that there are encoded messages. The rabbis will tell you that in the Old Testament is filled with encoded messages. And I believe that Christianity is probably the most powerful encoded message the world's ever had. It's one of the oldest messages in the world, and I believe that the Christian teachings in the original scriptural understanding is the most important, volatile story the world's ever known. And it's sitting right in front of you, and most people don't even see it.
All right. So that leads us into the next 5 clips that we're going to show. And he's going to talk about something that I think ties to the fires for me personally, because you can take your mind anywhere you want to go. Now, I just spoke about that earlier, that is it possible that we're looking in the wrong direction for God, right? In some cases, because of bad authorities. They know the truth. And maybe they don't. Maybe some of these pastors and people don't know. Maybe our parents didn't know or don't know. Maybe my Uncle Bob don't know. Maybe my sister don't know. Maybe these people don't know because they were taught and told by somebody else who didn't know. And by somebody else who did know, that goes all the way back to what he's talking about, the original stuff that has been weeded out so we don't know. But nobody's going to admit that they don't know, because when the word is the word, it's the word. And when they're going to tell you what the word is, more wars have been fought over religion than anything that we can think of. We know this. I was married to the she-wolf. We had more fights in the house on religion than we did about trying to work against the world together, because of what I said wasn't the Bible or the word, or she didn't think it was a godly man speaking at that moment. All husband window went out. It was just out the window. It had nothing else to do. So I know how powerful the wrong stuff can be taught, and that we can implement it in our daily routine, to a fact that we are so blinded after generations and generations and generations that you can't find the truth no more, because they have now built a system. And we talked about the justice system, the political system, the economic system, the educational system, the healthcare system. We talked about early in the show, if you missed it, that the word system meant sewer back in Latin, and now it's tied to some of the most things that we got going on today, the systems. So we all been taught the system. And all of a sudden now it is showing its head because of divine justice that we talked about early in the show. Could it be divine justice? All right, let me check my chats. And, those are things that we can look into. All right, so here's what I'm getting ready to put now. So let's take this, because we got a little bit to show. He now starts talking about dark times. This is why I started relating it into what is going on today. Dark times. And I'm just paying 30-some clips, because 30 seconds clips and different stuff. But we're going to keep doing it. We're going to do another part of the show Monday, all the way next week. We're going to do a lot of his stuff over the next month. And then because I'm going to start sharing with you what I can from these hidden archives, okay? What I can share with you. It's no way to share everything with you. It's just not going to happen. All right. Well, it did, but not for everyone. All right. So let's go into the dark times.
I believe that the story in the New Testament, and I'm concerned about this because I believe the world is now facing another dark age. I think that we are now preparing ourselves to go into a very dark time that's coming on the earth. And I believe that the message that's in the New Testament is a very powerful, symbolic, metaphysical story that is not very well understood today. Let me go back to the original Hebrew religion.
So, dark times, and we talking about fire and brimstone. We're talking about stuff that is happening now in a world that's technologically advanced as it is. There shouldn't be any phantoms. There shouldn't be people. There should be issues that people are dealing with today when we have the most advanced civilization, supposedly, times now, especially here in the United States. But yet, that's not what's happening. We know this. But once again, he predicting, and and I can go into, we're moving from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age, that there's a different shift in not just ideology, but energy. There's just so much, and people are waking up to the moon. We're waking up to the sun. We're waking up to the true meaning of things, and we're being enlightened. They talk about ascension. And when he said that it's happening on the earth, I just listened to it and just said, okay, maybe he's saying stuff above the earth, like fires and all this stuff in Hawaii and California, because it's not in the earth. He's not talking about in the earth, but on the earth. But if he was here today and seeing the fires and all of that, he would probably be one of the most rogue people out there. That they will probably, and he will be like, not only did I tell y'all so, but here's who's doing it. He will be like, here's who's doing it, when it comes down. Rob said you did my boy dirty with the thumbnail. Who you talking about? Anyway, Robert. But so Dark Times, Clark says, sounds like it's going on in many parts of the world, California, Israel, Lebanon, Ukraine. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. And now it's reaching where we are here today, because there's not fires anywhere else. And there are some reporters now trying to figure out who did this, and who done that, and everything else. And well, it's the only good picture I got of him. It's going to be on all the thumbnails. So you can send me a better picture for him. Okay. But that's one of the things that is happening that we have to look into. So let's get into another clip so we won't be here too much longer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, sit down for what you're about to hear. And as my tagline says, you may not believe it. We're now going to take us into a few things. And seeing is believing. I know most of you say, I got to see it to believe. That's cool. But we're about to get into an area that we're going to have many conversations on. But if you can't wait till a lot of the conversation, I think you need now to dig yourself in where we're about to go. We're not just talking about what, Puff Daddy, when he had his black private jet. We're not going to talk about all this stuff, but we probably will someday. But it's all about truth versus authority. So what I'm preparing you for is to open your minds to where we're going to go all next week into these conversations and everything else. So let's play the clip, one of 4 more that's left, so let you know. But this one now takes me into the part that I've been working with you all night for. Okay, let's go into this.
The great generals from around the world who are planning wars and violence and bloodshed, all of this stuff can be traced back to the planet Saturn. Saturn is a very, very pivotal, important concept in theology and religion. And most people have never been told any of this and have no knowledge of it at all. But the planet Saturn is very important in world affairs, in theology.
There. Planet Saturn, world affairs, theology. Why are we saying that? Because, I started looking up Saturn, and you start understanding the black cube is its representation, if you haven't seen it. And here's a screenshot here. This is all over the world. Everybody has this symbol of the black cube. Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana, all over the black cube. Okay, so this is just part. We're going to go into a lot of part of this conversation. This is just a screenshot from somewhere else. But the whole point I'm saying is the black cube is a representation of Saturn. But these symbols have been all around the world. They're everywhere in plain sight right now, sitting there representing the dark forces or the things that he's talking about. And, when you start thinking that the black Saturn, what do we need to know? So I want to say that my first is apologies to the families of 9/11. Okay. And why am I saying that? Because I'm going to show you a picture next. After 9/11, those 2 towers came down. They built a monument of 9/11. Okay. The monument where it is 2 black cubes. 2 black cubes. You know, almost like the people who did it or didn't, whatever, is saying we did it, but the world doesn't know. The world doesn't know that our hands was in this situation. And why would they? Because what he said was people have no clue about this. Why would they know? So I'm showing you some stuff. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff. And there's things. Let me look in the chat here. Very interesting. Illuminati. Yeah, their symbols is everywhere. The occultists. And how about the hexagon on the top of Saturn? Yeah, it's everywhere. It's right in plain sight. And all right, I'm not into politics. And I tell y'all, we don't do that here in the show because that's one of the most divisive parts. But go take a look at, you know, this place. Right on top of it is the black cube. It's sitting there on top of it. All right. It's just there, you know. And so when I started thinking about it, you know, I was like, okay, is there any coincidence? And we got some more clips to show. Then I started looking, I was meditating about the black cube. And I know your mind can do whatever. It can play tricks on you. It can do whatever. My mind does that. You know that. And so I was like, okay, the black cube. So I'm talking about the California fire. So I'm meditating about the black cube, and I type in California fires, and in my mind, I'm sitting out, and here's what pops up. Boom. I'm like, I don't know if that's just a cube. It used to be an arch, but it's black. And why is it symbolic to my mind right now? Okay, who knows? Why all of a sudden this building just reminded me with some eyes in the cube and saying, that's just me. My mind's playing tricks on me. That's okay. I get it. But at the end of the day, what is freaking happening out here that we don't understand what is going on? And I'm not saying that everybody's bad or good. I'm not saying that when I showed you Trump Towers. That's not what I'm talking about. But as Netta says, question everything. You have to. You have to question everything, because this was the monument of there too. Look, this is the cube. It's right there from 9/11. They light this cube up at night. It's crazy. Yeah, you could look at the infrared Trump Tower. It's got the cube. He could have made that any fancy way he wanted. But there you go. And they know something we don't know. Daryl says Mecca. The cube is there as well. There you go. The Black Pope. You absolutely right. Those things are there in plain sight. And we don't know. So let's go into another clip here, and we got 3 left. Let's go into this one. I think I played this one, or did I not?
The great generals from around the world.
Play that one. Let's play this one.
Masonic circle, and within the Masonic circle is a square, because you got to do everything on the square, remember. You have a town square, you have New York Square, you have Vatican Square, you have Red Square, you have all kinds of squares. Why? Because this is Masonic. And it goes all the way back into the ancient world, the terms and symbols. Again, the planet Saturn is called the Black Square. It's called the Dark Sun, the Black Sun. This is what the Nazis and the SS and the Gestapo wore black.
All right, so what do y'all think? What are your thoughts? Because the next one I'm going to show you goes deeper. Now, I don't know enough about it, but I think it's worth us going on a journey together. Yeah, and the book of Sacred Secrets that you have got has got some stuff about Saturn in it. Okay, so if you haven't got that, you can go to the website, and it teaches you some stuff. If you just had not, I think I have something up here. I can throw it up here. Yeah, let me stop the banner at the bottom here. Yeah, so if you go look at the website and get the book of Sacred Secrets, you're going to get a little information about Saturn and some stuff in there. It just kind of covers some stuff to give you the information that you need to have. Another part is I talk about stuff in my other product, the shadowsofdeception.com. Couple of you have downloaded it. It has its own website. Check it out. It's a little compilation of all the stuff that's happening, but not so much of this here. So I'm on a journey, Truth versus Authority, and we'll have some other guests coming now soon. I stopped doing it for a while, but now, inevitably, many of these people that I'll bring forth, there'll be people that and I'm not saying believe everything that they say that comes up in this show. You're going to take it face value, but we're going to also explore it. And then we can always, the next show, talk about what we saw the last show, because that's us as a community of truth seekers. But I will make a promise to you that, the improvement that I'm doing in my life, the things that I'm learning, the changes in the from one part of the spectrum, I call it, or me living this infinite reality, or this particular is changing so I can go on the journey, the freedom that I'm accomplishment by getting in better shape and better health. So it's not just about losing weight. It's the freedom to move about, to cover things, to go places, to talk and meet people in search of the truth, the energy in all of that. The difficult time of this 10-day cleanse. I'm in day 7, and I was going to quit today, and I was going to quit yesterday, and I was going to quit on the 5th day. And now when I finally started writing to myself, you're past the point, keep going. And what are you going to accomplish? You want to feel better. And then I feel better, and I got more energy. How do I keep it? Well, I know I'm not going to be eating that way for the rest of my life on those days, but I sure am going to incorporate 80%. And I discovered portions. And I know I'm a big guy who's talking about, but I discovered portions. And I bought all these new portions. So when next time I cook a big ass steak, 16 ounces, it's going to last 2 to 3 days, because I'm going to cut it up. And if it don't fit in that little portion that day for that particular meal, and it's that big, it's just going to have to stretch, baby, until my body takes it down. And then maybe I don't eat another steak. Maybe it's some rabbit meat, because I've been buying some rabbit meat in my freezer because I want to do some lean. If he can run fast, I want to run fast. Consume the energy of the rabbit. But what I'm saying to you, come with me on this journey. Share the channel. Come with me, because my mind is clearing up, and I thought I knew some stuff. You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm gonna give you something you never seen before. I'm gonna be better than you ever thought I could be, and I am. Wait as we continue down this journey. But what I'm saying to you, there's a lot of truth out there that we don't know. We don't know the truth. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. And Rashad said, don't quit. Health is wealth. It's more than wealth now. It's more than wealth. It's more. I had to take it to just more than that. I had to take it to, what am I doing for humanity? Who counts on me? What more am I supposed to do? I may be in this room, but my presence extends thousands of places at one time. And so it's bigger than that. Let's put down a couple of more things. Somebody said, put the meat down. You know what? It's okay. I mean, I'm more than this life going to this side and that side. And, it's I'm not spending the rest of my life not eating a steak. That is what I'm not doing. But I do get what you're saying. I just know modest intentions, and then couple that with some of the good stuff that I put in it, from the spring water to coconut water to the vegetables, and because a vegetable used to be able to just come right by my house. If you were a cow or a pig and you some bacon and you wanted to pass me, just dress up like a vegetable. You may pass. Just all these vegetables. I'm like, why are all these vegetables walking past me? Well, now I know they was hiding. All right, let's keep going. But we're going to keep going. And, but yeah, so the part of that is to be better all over. All right. So we talk about the symbolism of black, and he's getting ready to go into this. And Daryl mentioned something in there, and a couple of people, and the black Saturn. Where is that displayed to us in plain sight? Now, he talked about more than this in a 3-hour presentation. I'm going to keep harping, because that's how you're going to support the show. But every week I'm going to drop something. I got, like I said, my collection is 50 or 60 of his stuff. You can look the internet all day long. You can search and piece tidbits of stuff, but I got full stuff. And as y'all know, I contacted his family, and I got all the archives that from his study file, 5,500 files. I got that a while back, and there's more notes and places. So I got a lot of work to do to do this, but at the end of the day, it's part of my journey of doing whatever. So let's go with this right here. And so again, if you want to get access to this whole 3 hours, because you're just seeing clips, and if you gathering some information from these clips, imagine 3 hours and then the other stuff that I've been putting in there. And once a week, we're doing a drop. And all our shows in the future, we're going to play clips from, we're going to be studying him for at least little clips of him for the next month or two, not month, but periodically, not all the time though. And then other people, but I think it's more better to bring in some visuals than just to do. And then of course, we'll have some guests. So let's play the next one. Let's roll.
That's why priests wear black. That's why judges wear black robes. Why do you think a judge wears a black robe? He wears a black robe because when you used to graduate from university, you wear a black robe. Why black robes? Darth Vader wears a black robe. What the hell does a black robe have to do with anything? The judges wear black robes. You know, Supreme Court judges wear black robes. Black robes represent the priesthood of the planet Saturn, the Saturnalian Brotherhood.
Woo! All right. So is this happening every day? So when we go to the court and you look up the base word court, it's a place where games are played. We go look it up. It's not what we think it is. If you go look up word magic, court, word magic, which represent court. And you got basketball courts. You got, all tennis court. You have, and all of these are where things go back and forth. They're designed this way. Okay. And then in the court system, you got lawyers on both sides and the judges in the middle. Basketball, you got the referees in the middle. Everything's in center field. Tennis, the center field. All of these different. It's like they're playing out these things in front of us and then invented things around the truths. And the court system is never there to do, because like you said, the judge is wearing the black robes and the lawyer, they're just going back and forth and nobody's winning, the persons, but it's like a big game show when it comes down to this. What is it going on? What does he mean? How does that play into, though, what is happening today? Yeah, we got King's Court. We have all of these stuff that we're looking into. And like I said to you, we're going to go together on what we're doing. I have one more clip that I'm going to show. It's about a minute. And I'm calling this clip the Great Reset, because I think that's what is happening right now. I think he alluded 20-some years ago about what is going on today, which had already been happening. It's just the fire is a big thing. The fire illuminates what is going on. Having this fire, we can illuminate this. I mean, says it all right here. This says it all. And just from the skyline to what is going on and what people are dealing with. I just think it is something that, once again, get your access to the secrets.tv. And when you go look at, the contributions, what we're doing to have access to that, you can do it. It's nothing. And again, you're supporting the bigger version of what we're doing. I just thought, instead of me just keep saying, hey, cash apping, all of this stuff, I'm just going to keep driving you there. And then on YouTube membership itself, get ready, because we got some stuff going into that area, which are private conversations. And I'm hoping that you understand where I'm coming from and the need and why it's essential that you begin to support, but also get knowledge from it. Okay. You're going to get something from it. So I'm not asking you that you're not, even if because some of you come here today, you might not find value in what I say, and you may do, but at the end of the day. All right, so let's play the last clip, so we've been getting out of here in a few moments. But I'm calling it the Great Reset, because I think this is where we are, and it's about a minute long, and it's really good to end on, so to speak.
Christians have been praying to God to help this nation, to protect their family, and evil grows and multiplies each day. And the more Christians pray, the more evil the pervasiveness becomes. And the reason why is because we are not in tune with the universal God force. We're not in tune with the truth. We're in tune with what we've been told is the truth. We understand that thing that we've been told about government, that we have to pay your taxes because that's the law. You think, what law? Where is there a law that says that? Well, it's in there somewhere. No. Where is the law? Then you find out, well, it was just a lie. The whole thing was a lie. The whole thing is a sham. Well, the same thing is true in our theological thinking. The reason why I am bringing this subject up is because I feel it's important now in the year 2002, because I think that very soon we're going to experience some pretty dynamic spiritual things are going to begin to happen on the earth, because I do not believe that the divine presence in the universe that men have called God is going to allow this to go on much longer.
Now, so what I'm saying and what I thought he was saying, and y'all, and just work with me on this one. Early in the show, we talked about divine justice. Is something happening, although we're seeing it as a tragic event. But what is it? Some type of divine justice? Maybe, I don't know, but I would like to search for it. Because once again, he said we're praying, but if we're praying to the wrong person because it was deliberately set up, we're giving more power and energy. So it is a question to ask. Why? Why is more things happening, although we're supposed to be able to block these things? Why is it more bigger things happen? Are we giving energy to a place that we have no clue to where we are putting it into? Because it was designed to take our energy and we're meditating to the wrong people instead of connecting ourselves to the source? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking you because it's a journey and maybe you can answer it too. And maybe we can go on that collective together. But I think it's a great question because we can't, ignore what is happening in plain sight in some cases. Now, I will tell you, you get a lot of people say, well, Roderick, I don't believe unless I see it. Well, of course, my firm belief on that one is they can manipulate what we see. So we need to get into the subconscious of stuff. We got to figure it out. But is something else. Let me check the chat before we get out of here. Again, it's all, where it is and where things are definitely taking us at some point. And I think that's, a closing thought there. Nichols said, he did have phenomenal memory and was always ready. Yeah. Regina said, agree, Roderick, please continue to listen and gain more knowledge and family. Please look up the Solar Report. That's what I wrote down. I think I tried to write it down early. The Solar Report. There we go. David Icke talks about, the holographic stuff. And we're going to talk about a lot of that because, again, him and Jordan and then a couple other people are my knowledge base. And I got every book David written. I'm starting to read them. Jordan, Symbolism, Truth versus Authority. And I've added more collections to that. And so I'm going deeper into that right now. All right. So let me give a shout out to anybody. Any of you are considering supporting us on Patreon with our all access, let me know if you're considering it. Because there's three type of people that are listening to me right now when I present this. Okay. There's a number one, number two, and number three. A number one is a person say, Roderick, I'm all in. I'm in for esoteric knowledge. I'm learning and I'm support this show. I just got you and I know you got me and it's going to be value there. Absolutely. A number two is a person that says, Roderick, I come here all the time. Maybe, I don't know. And it could be financial too, but maybe whatever. I don't know. Jordan Maxwell, I can go search YouTube and find some clips. Yeah, you're going to find clips, but I got the whole entire 3 hours. Nobody out there on YouTube got the whole 3 hours of that one. But I got more on there. There's hours of stuff, and I'm going to continue to add them. And then maybe there's a number three. You're a number three. It's just not for you. supporting the channel not for you. You'll just come here and listen, and who cares if we can't be out there and monetize our message. Who cares if you're doing all this research and all that and bringing the truth, and just like Jordan Maxwell, you're going to get attacked. And number 3 says, I'm just going to watch your fall. I'm going to watch your demise, Roderick. We're just going to watch you come down because you're speaking the truth, and some of it doesn't make sense. But regardless, if you're number 1, number 2, and number 3, just let me know, because I want to know who I'm talking to today. Put it in the chat, a 1, a 2, and a 3. Tina says between 1 and 2. That's fine. And Tina, that's great. Your presence is here. You're interactive. But just stay here all year long. You'll get bits and pieces of all of it. Not all of it, but you'll get something over time. That is the thing. But if you're going to, some of you want to go in there and hit it and go and support, that's fine too. Maya says she's a number 1. There we go. Daryl says I'm a 1. There we go. Nick says 1. 1 is 1. Because, Neo... The Neo was the one too. But just let me know. Roderick, listen to the 30-second videos first on the solar report. Okay. All right. So Diana says number 1. You follow, child? If I'm pronouncing it right, says number 1. All right. I'm probably leaning toward number 2. No problem. It's number 2. And I'm saying to you, 2 and 3 is fine. 3, I just know they're not going to support this. They're not going. I'm not even saying that you should. I just know that that's fine, and I'm not going anywhere. 2s, that's cool. I just figure there's a lot of people that have given a lot over time, and some hadn't. And I figure let's put some value up. But I will promise you, if you're on the fence as a 2, that when we do some of these shows and stuff, I start pointing out and playing some of these clips, you're gonna be like, "Oh crap!" So we'll come to you. We'll come. Just sit where you are. We're going to come to you. But everyone else, just takes. It takes all 3. I'm not saying that. I'm saying far as everything else. But Sean says number 1. Netta's number 1. Rashad number 1. Cool. And everyone else. Lisa number 1. I'm just giving a shout out. GB2K. But I want people to understand it's not easy. When I started this journey, and we'll get out, I had other people that would work with me. And when I started trying to figure out a way to monetize the message, I lost a few people around me because, well, why would you want to try to make money? Well, they all had jobs, they families, or was taking care of whatever they were doing. And you can't get out here to do it. But I realized unless I want to help more people or run ads to the channel or get out and do something, you can't do it without money. But then there was people who would take life from you. There are days that I don't want to come here. And y'all knew for a couple of weeks, I stopped coming live. I was broken. I was done for a while. Daryl and I'm going to tell you, I was having conversations. I was not coming back because I felt that not that I wasn't being appreciated to what we were doing, but I knew it was going to take more work to give people more work. And did I have it in me? Could I do it? Did I want to come here religiously? That's the word. And show up when some people would come when they wanted to or whatever. But do I need to keep this door open and do that? But I found that I should. And that's one of the reasons I went through this cleanse, to clear my mind, to get my energy, to go through not just being where I was, but to be better and become one of the best out there. And if I'm going to hold my brand as a symbolizer and filing a trademark for it, I'm going to live up to it for me too. I want to do what I'm going to do. And I want to be out there doing it. And so therefore to you, my promise is to you. And like I said, you don't have to support me that way, but I'm still going to give to you. I'm going to love on you more than whatever. It doesn't matter. And y'all hear me say it all the time to the haters. I'm not calling y'all haters, but they can hate me and don't even know me, but I'm still love them. So I love everybody. And pretty much, Abunda said here, thank you. Thank you very much. Lisa said, I found you through Billy Card. Thank you. Gateways are very good. Finances for me. That's all right, son. You just keep coming and I got you here. That's why I'm going to be here as well. Okay. And there's going to be some who got it and and as a collective, they're going to put together. Don't put people in a category, mate. Listen, you can get on out of here now. You can get out of here now. I'm finna block you, wall or whatever. That's not what I said. Obviously, this is the problem that I have when you say what you say and people don't understand what I just said. This is why. People like that. Yeah, I don't care. You can go. But the point is, I didn't put people in a category. I just gave a option of where they could be. And you already know where you were. You are probably a number 4 because you don't even understand what I was talking about. You get what I'm saying? This is why we're here doing what we do. And you're going to be here sucking this information all the time. That's great. I didn't call nobody no different. I know everybody can't support the show. I didn't say that. And I want people to still come who can. I just said there'll be 3 types of people, 1, 2, or 3. And people might just, hey, whatever. I'm talking about the membership is what I said. But if you want to take that personally, yeah, I can take it personally. Go. I'll go. You should be going. You should be gone. Go. All right. So that's all I'm saying is people look at these things that way. And that's not what I'm talking about, right? It's just that I was just passing the sentiment on from there, and people could have just heard he could have just heard what I said, or she, I don't know who it was, the pronoun, but they could have heard what I said. Yeah. It's just, thank you, Dr. Strange. Thank you all of listening and all of saying. And it's just, we get that. And it's like you can't, it's like you have no, you can't ask for help if you wanted to help, and you're not supposed to. But anytime like I said, this is why we're here as a collective together, because we're going to love on each other and we're going to grow together. We're going to grow together. And to understand that, it takes us listening to one another to understand where we are. You don't have to put yourself in somebody's shoes and walk in them, but just understand what they're in and what's going on. And pretty much. And I have tons of people that are going to unsubscribe or subscribe, because some days I may say one thing that nobody agrees on that day, and they're going to judge me and all of those things. And they're going to be, voila, I'm out and whatever. But I know he's going to still watch. Because I'm right. I'm doing what I'm doing. He's not going to apologize. He's going to still watch. He's just not going to never be in the chat again. That's all. Because they're going to be here. The haters still come. They're going to watch you. And I'm not saying that person's a hater. They're just not going to apologize to what they say. Now, I'm apologize for being the way I was just then, and I apologize to everyone. But at the point I'm saying is, we make the point of what we're doing. You know. I said the same thing, Rashad. He didn't leave. He know it's not. He know it's not. He know what I just said didn't warrant him to go. You get what I'm saying? That's a person that's not going to apologize to understand or go back and look at what I said. That's all. And remember, I said that when you get somebody that can't understand the truth and they go. Now, don't get me wrong. I could have displayed something that I wasn't supposed to display. And I will apologize to that if I offended anyone for my actions of that. That I'm sincerely saying. But I got to catch these things, because they come through the chat, they say stuff, and they hide behind anonymity. They hide behind usernames and stuff that we'll never know who they are. They're not going to say, my name is such and such, and I said this. But you know who I am. I can't hide. And I'm not just saying because I'm a fluffy guy. But I'm not hiding. My name is Roderick Martin. I'm living in Dallas, Texas. I'm on the air everywhere. I'm on TV, 9 different TV shows. I can't hide behind no username. And if I'm going to say something negative about somebody or something, but they can do that, and they are empowered to do that. It's the power that they do. You know, it's the power. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And Dr. Strange, I felt that energy, man. But you control, yeah. And you have to, but you want to display it out there, make sure people know. Because I hear nothing but love. All right, so my boy Daryl and then Rob. Rob, you want to close us out? If you can, I'll put a link up. You hop in and you can close us out, and let us know when your next show as well. Let me know in the chat before I close this out, if you're there, and then I'll put the link up. You can come in and come on in with us. Rashad, if I'm pronouncing that right, Rashad, make sure Maya, I'm going to be putting up a website pretty soon. Maya is handling our Dallas get together, and I've been harping on this for 6 months. Finally, we're going to do it. And so you're in Dallas. We're going to do meetups with people here in Dallas as well. And pretty much. All right, Rob, I'm going to put this invite link here, and then you can click it and come on in. And anybody else, if you want to come in and close us out or something, pop on in here. For those of you, I'm done with the Jordan Maxwell stuff. Like I said, if you want, make sure you go to the archives. But there's a link there. If you want to come on screen, make sure your camera's on real quick and talk about what we talked about tonight a little bit. So it can hold up to 10 people, but I know everybody is not going to be able to come. But Rob, there he is there. All right, brother. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, how you doing, my brother?
All right, where's that microphone at? We can barely hear you. Where you at?
Hey, can you hear me now?
There we go. All right. I know you're a podcaster. I know you got the setup. So when I'm like, well, where's the setup at, brother? Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to make sure I get you my other setup, my other mic. It's like I got two different microphones going on it.
Well, we only hear one because of the headphone. That's good. So you're loud and clear here.
Yeah. So yeah, man, you were talking about that Jordan Maxwell, and I was thinking like, wow, man, you had that going on, but you're not doing no more talking on that right now. But
no, we can talk on that. That's the point. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So he had another real good show.
Hang on 1 second. GB2K said they're in Dallas too. All right, so anybody who's in Dallas, listen to me real closely. Maya, we're going to get to them. Make sure y'all, I've been saying this all the time, though. Contact, CONTACT, at whythebigsecret.com. Send me your name and telephone number. Just don't email me like I'm in Dallas. Send me a telephone number. I will call you. A lot of people know. They'll be like, damn, I didn't believe you'll call. I'll call you. And then I'll get the information over to Maya, and we can all keep, and then we're going to put together maybe a WhatsApp or some group so that we can all do some stuff here in Dallas. We was planning a night watch, UFO watch here in Dallas. We was going to do that as well. So all those things are coming up to do pretty much. Hang on a second. There's my guy, Gloves Close. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
All right. He's going to be a future podcaster, so we're going to get him a microphone too. So y'all got to remember, y'all got to get these mics. But anyway, hang on a second. So anyway, contact at whythebigsecret.com. Make sure y'all send, your telephone number, especially in Dallas Fort Worth area. Okay. And then we're good. All right. So before you talk, go ahead, Rob, about, the George Maxwell, the fires, the stuff that's happening, or go with that.
Yeah, that's some real deep information right there. Because what you got going right now, as far as the secrets, there's one called the Sons of Gods that I was telling you about this, that you might want to check out on that one also.
It's in our private information, right?
It's in our private information.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, you and I will talk. He's got access to it. We'll put some stuff together, and maybe we'll do a whole show, because I want to start bringing all that stuff
to life right here.
All right, see, there you go. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah. So, this he really gets into some deep information. I mean, this stuff is so deep that you guys it's gonna blow your mind. Okay, and it's kind of, and then you look at it and you look back at the video like this is an old video back in early 70s, and it's like, wait a minute, they were talking about this stuff in the 70s, and
but they didn't have no audience though. But go ahead.
They didn't have an audience for it, but now it's all hitting. Now all this information that he's talking about, that was talking about then, is all current now, and it's gonna be crazy. And I'm like, wow, Rod, we got a gold mine sitting right here. You see, I was just asking you in the chat over here. I said, are we like shareholders now of this?
Man, I had a dream that if I can get over time 10 people
here now,
that I can get 10 people that's going to go down this road, because when I started going through, it was just too much data. I was like, there's no way, but you got to get other people and then cross-pollinate each other's shows. And then we're going to build each other. We're going to build a network of information that they can't stop it. They can't stop us all. And pretty much. So Ghost Clove, what's going on with you? Tell us a little bit about you. And then of course y'all know the greatness of Daryl is there, but go ahead.
I'm fairly new to the group. I don't know if you can hear me good.
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Yeah. anybody that's second guessing or skeptical about it, I mean, you're just gonna gain knowledge. What's the worst thing about that? Like, don't be scared, and if you love it, support it. If you can't, maybe doing this could help you find ways to support yourself and, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, brother.
Try to be a little positive about it, you know.
All right, we got Clark is here with us. Hang on. And we got a place for 9 more folks. So what's up? What's going on? You a first timer too. So
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, Clark. You can't hear us? You can?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
I can, yeah.
Okay, a bit of a lag on my end there. I guess I'm hearing myself maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah, if you're hearing yourself, you got to turn the computer part down now. If you're hearing yourself, you got to turn that part off and then just talk to us. Yeah. But Daryl, what's going on with you, brother?
Man, everything's been going on, Roderick. Excellent show tonight. You know, I'm a big Jordan Maxwell fan as well.
Yeah, so, you knew some closeness to him, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I met him a few times, and I think I told you, and I said in one of the interviews where I had a little private party, and he was the guest of honor, and I was in there with him and Sean Stone and some other celebrities, Elizabeth Eisenhower, and he's so congenial. And someone made a message in the chat about how good his memory must have been because he gave a 3-hour presentation with no notes, and that was Jordan, because he just knew it through and through. He didn't have to have notes. Matter of fact, when I had my show, I interviewed him twice, and he brought me on his show. He was very congenial. Really miss him. So I'm looking forward to more in this series, and much more to be shared and revealed. And I know Roderick is sitting on a goldmine of information, and like so many of our I'll call them the early disclosure pioneers. You know, people like him and David Wilcock and Bob Dean, the people who are on the cutting edge of disclosure of all of this.
Right.
You know, we ride on their shoulders, and none more so than Jordan Maxwell, the statesman Jordan Maxwell. Yeah. And lastly, I just conclude just in honor of the day being Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday today.
Okay.
Just wanted to just bring some honor to that and recognition. And to even what your last point when you closed, Roderick, with just looking at these times that we're in, that Jordan was talking to.
Yeah.
Periods of great social unrest. You know, Dr. King's last speech, he talked about the conspiracy of silence. And that people don't know. It's just like this, whether it's a reset, this dark age that we're going through, you know, but for those that don't know, relative to Dr. King, when he was assassinated, he had the notes for his next speech in his vest pocket. And it was just the outline for that sermon he was going to give that Sunday. And the title of that sermon was Why America May Go to Hell.
See, it's like they just know what time it is. But Clark, tell us a little bit about you, brother.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Okay, well, out here in the forgotten part of Eastern Canada there. And I heard about you, Roderick, first through Billy Carson, same as with Courtney, through Forbidden Knowledge.
All right.
All right now. Okay. Well, welcome. And like I said, for some of you supporting the show, go to our new Patreon, Truth versus Authority, which is called The Secrets for various reasons, you know, because this is where we're going to have it. That's it. If you want to use that domain, thesecrets.tv, go ahead and get your membership. You'll be supporting the show. And every week as we do these shows, I'll drop other stuff in there because there's thousands of things. There's no way to fill it up, but you will not be lacking information and knowledge that you won't find anywhere else. And if you did, you're going to get tidbits here and there. It's not something I'm selling. This is my personal collection that I'm sharing with you, with these people that you see up here that has the actual files, because they're thought leaders for the future. And I knew that when I got access and started going through it, I was like, there's no way that I can do this alone or would do it, even though it's and just like Ghost Club say, some of this stuff, you can start your own shows. You will never be looking for stuff and you will become the barrier of truth. as you begin to get out
lying.
here and all that. And that's what I'm saying to you. Yeah.
Yep.
And
is
that
true.
if you going that route, you contact me, contact at whythebigsecret.com. But anyway, for those of you just come to, all right. So you all are being here. So we never really just talked in detail. Each one of you, we'll just go around the room a little bit. We'll start with you, Clark. What are your thoughts about these fires and what's happening in California? He has a little delay, so go ahead.
Well, it seems that there's fires in California all the time. Like, I mean, I don't really know what's going on there. Like, I mean, they say there's droughts out there. So is this all natural or is it artificial? You know, I don't, I really don't understand what's going on there. And a couple more things. I never heard about Jordan Maxwell until you started talking about him, Rod. And I want to come back about what you said about the Oreo cookie. When you think about it, they're talking about a cookie that's this big.
Yep.
And the design of the cookie on it is, very intricate.
Yep.
That tells me that the design of it was made with the same tools that watchmaker would use, to make, like little tiny tools here to make the mold of the cookie. To me, that is just bananas.
Yeah.
It's like they put a lot of effort into this and making it like it is. So to me, that's just crazy.
Absolutely. You make a great point. I didn't think about it from that level of precision of what they put into in the machinery to make sure it is accurate as sacred geometry it could be and everything else. Okay, so we'll go to you next, Rob. What do you think about these fires and what's happening today?
These fires, man, it's you look at it, you hear all the scenarios this way, how everything is being set up. All this stuff that's being done beforehand, that you're finding out the deals that's happening beforehand, of the land that we need this land, or we couldn't get this land, and all of a sudden now the land is available because of some kind of force of some environmental catastrophe. All of a sudden now the land is available. Now, the Olympics is coming to was it the 2028 Olympics is coming to LA? They got to rebuild all that before the 2028 Olympics now, right?
with new land owners and everything.
New land and everything. So now you got a whole different aspect coming to look at this now. Now we're gonna have the ET help coming in now, because the ETs, we got the orbs coming in now. Those orbs could do a job for us.
Well, you know what? In what you're saying, somebody just posted in there, and they said natural fires don't go around certain things, and that's why I honestly say this is a supernatural event. I believe it is. Yeah. I believe the Hawaii. Now, some stuff is man-made too, but to begin the process, especially when you can't find the origin of something, and they should be able to do that. They can go satellite imagery in a heartbeat and know exactly where the first one started. They can go back and look if they wanted us to know. You know what I'm saying?
It's convenient, Rod, not to have the doggone fire hydrants, no water going there to the fire.
Well, yeah, we talked about that earlier too. So, but if you think about Hawaii, when they did and then everybody painted their roof blue to let them know, hey, don't hit this house with whatever you're about to do. All of this pre-connotation of stuff that they know. But when it comes down to, like I said, as far as being supernatural and all these things, you got to start thinking past, because nature is not going to kill itself. Now, those trees are rooted down in the ground. They're going to grow again anyway. But we're going to be exterminated in certain areas of things. But just how it's strategically done, just let you know from there. Ghost Clove, that's you, and then Daryl will hit you next. Go ahead.
I didn't know a whole lot about the fires. I learned a lot tonight from you all, but it did make me think about Brother Joseph when he was talking about the tornadoes, wondering if you know, you could use frequencies to avoid things like that too. Just my thoughts on it. I didn't know a whole lot about it before tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, it's a lot going on with the fires and stuff, but it's people are trying to figure out how it's coming. And there's people showing stuff of, you know, how did this fire get here? Now I do know that in the wind you're gonna have the flame or whatever they call it, you know, get float 20 feet somewhere else and catch somewhere else. So that's not unorthodox that a house down there can catch on fire and this one didn't. If the wind is blowing that way, it's going to spread. But you know, some of these massive places and how things are happening, and I think one particular video they showed Puff Daddy Mansion burning up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's deliberate, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, they make sure that one went down. Somebody went there and lit that one. They were like, oh, this one gotta go, folks, this one gotta go, you know. Yeah, that bad boy, you know what I'm saying? But when you think about the tunnels and what they could be hiding, fire hides a lot of stuff. Arson is the one way that they can hide everything. When they want to lose a human, they want to lose, you know, outside the desert and the mob. But other than that, they find a way to do those things. And when you got, but see, here's another thing that nobody's talking about. We got something that they stole from an individual called HARP. And HARP, if you go look it up, H as in H, and then AARP is how Aurora something. This thing controls the weather. They can send rain over there tomorrow if they wanted to. All they got to do is turn it on, point it over there. It will rain. They doing it on purpose. They can do it. They can turn around and say,
stolen?
Huh?
You said this was stolen?
It was a guy made it. The backstory was in Alaska where it originated. A man designed it to create where there could be phantoms in place that doesn't have rain, and he figured out by shooting the electrons up into the atmosphere that you can do that. They even school kids have done tests where they did a little bitty thing in the room, and they do this electricity, and the clouds form right there in a little bottle. So, but you're talking about something that's magnitude over acres and acres. And I can bring up a photo and put it up on here, but acres and acres, then the government took it because like they normally do. They came in and took everything. Now it is a classified government operation, but you can look, it's in plain sight, you know, H period, A period, A period, R period, P. And it says it, they can control the weather and they can make it. So why didn't somebody go, hey man, turn it on? We losing all these people's properties, and there's enough people in power say, turn it on, dude, and point that thing and make it rain and put these fires out. They're not doing it. They're not doing it because they didn't want to. Now it's the same machine that can cause the fire too. It has enough power that it can create a lot of stuff that's coming up and down. So I don't know. So Daryl, what you think?
Man,
before you interrupt here, Rod, I'm gonna knock off here.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go check out your Patreon there and the $3 video by Mr. Maxwell. I'm very curious to see the full thing and what's on there. So
yeah, it's 3 hours. It's 3 hours long, my brother.
Yeah, it's a great live stream there tonight. I'm gonna try to make. I can't say I'll make it to all of them, but it's
they'll be there. I appreciate you.
So I'll talk to you again soon here, maybe Friday.
All right, appreciate you coming, and y'all thank him first timer and everything. Yeah, so that's a membership. Y'all can go in there and watch. If you like the show tonight, you want to watch that 3-hour presentation along with the other ones. I think I'll put up a little clip again that he was talking about. This one is where I heard the truth versus authority, and so I just keep it as a memoir there. But he talks. He has a kind of a debate at a TV studio or somewhere. A lady had him in, and man, he goes in hard, and he talks about the UFOs and stuff.
That's what they put on television, and that creates an unreal perception.
And it takes our we do not focus really on the government. We focus on the fear more
exactly.
or less, instead of digging into our own power.
Why do you think that the justice system in California is called the criminal justice system? California criminal justice.
Yeah.
It's my perception that we are being given the justice by criminals, and they tell us that they have to let
Y'all got to watch that whole show. It's like an hour. It's already up in the archives. So if you go get your membership, you can see that. But everybody who's sitting up here, y'all just need to go click the video.
Right.
But but
I'm
everyone
gonna call
else,
you after the show, right?
yeah. But y'all want to go in there and click that or get your access to the Patreon. It'll support the show. And every week I'm going to drop some stuff in there. And it's just going to be the most secret archive you will ever find in your life. Now, again, I can't put 3,000 and some stuff that will never happen.
Yeah,
But we will do stuff that we're talking on the shows and everything else from there as well. So, but anyway, Clark, please appreciate you coming on from Canada and people watching. Y'all, it's time, share the channel because the goal is now to begin the process of thousands of people understanding truth versus authority. I will be putting the hats and stuff up next week. I got 20, 30 of them in there. I just keep them to myself, but I'm gonna start putting them, out for you can all get them. And like I said, they have protection on them, the different shirts and stuff. I've been really prepared for this journey, and as well as the trademark truth versus authority, trademark the symbolizer. I got some people that, not lawyers, but they know what they're doing when it comes to trademarks, and lawyers will charge you $3,000-$4,000. I remember when I first started, it was going to be $10,000. I got them all done under $700 to $800 each. And that's including the filing fees, and so I'm going to be turning people onto that inner circles and stuff to get them done. In fact, I'm going to try to offer the service a little bit to help other people, because it's time for you to not only protect your IP, protect your message, protect the brand, integrate your sacred geometry into your branding, your logo. We're going to do all of that. We're going to do our first seminar on that. Brother Yosef, he'll be here Friday again. It's time to do the esoteric stuff. And I know it's not going to be out there for millions, but if we can help 1, 2, 100, you know what I'm saying, and do the best we can, we're going to be doing that. All right, guys, anybody got any final words before we get up?
Yeah, you can check me out on Wide Open Woke Podcast.
Okay, Wide Open. When are you going to have your next show?
I just had one up on the drones. I just put up there recently.
Okay, it's the YouTube channel, right?
It's YouTube channel, yes. It's Wide Open Woke Podcast. You'll see it. And also, I'm gonna have one coming out later on. As far as that, I'm gonna talk with you later on about that. We're gonna talk off the air about some other stuff. But yeah, I'm still hitting on the drone thing because it's still, even though the government, you don't hear a whole lot about it in the news, it's still happening. So I try to keep you up.
There are some new updates on that. Y'all need to go see the Sean Ryan. The guy who did the Trump Tower bombing did a manifesto, contacted them before. He kept trying to reach them days before to tell people what he was going to do. And then he said that he worked with the government and he told exactly what these drones are and who they were, and that we gonna have some issues coming up this year. And they, took it to the FBI and all. It is one of the most cryptic shows you want to watch when it comes down to what is happening there. But Daryl, when are you gonna be starting your podcast and show and stuff there?
Man, I'm looking at the first week in February. I'm down here and put my studio together. I got a kind of a loose sign up there, but it'll be Daryl Nichols, and the show's going to be called The Parthenon.
The Parthenon, spell it?
The Parthenon. Parthenon.
Okay.
And that's symbolic of, back in the ancient days that people went to the Parthenon. That was the place of where they exchanged knowledge. That's where the scrolls and things were kept when they came out of Egypt. So that's the idea, is we'll come together and we're going to share wisdom in the Parthenon.
All right. Okay.
And I would like to mention between, with what's going on with the fires and things, I would just say parenthetically, it's a big alphabet soup. Everything from the orbs, and I think you're going to find that when you chase that rabbit in the hole, that they were talking about several other things, to include spiritual phenomenon, maybe another form of intelligence, and then plasmoids. And that's the man-made version of it, which is the most super powerful thing that we have. This thing travels in excess of 400,000 miles an hour.
Wow.
So there's that. And we got to wonder why that's happening now, along with the fires. I'm a big conspiracy theorist of sorts, but it's a fact that Blackstone created BlackRock, the two largest empires of real estate in the world. Blackstone actually, in April of last year, signed a contract with the city of Los Angeles to purchase 27,000 apartment units.
Ooh.
Oh, and then all of the insurance companies canceled policies, and those happen to be the areas where we're having
See,
fire.
you can't make that stuff up, man. And
can't
people
make
won't
it
go
up.
asking
No.
why. And like Jordan said 20-some years ago,
Wow.
people just won't believe it because they'll be like, you may not believe it, which is a trademark of mine.
And
But-
Roderick, you hit it on the head, Roderick, when you alluded to Agenda 2030, because this was a published plan back in like 2014. And if you haven't seen that document, go to the World Economic Forum website. It's 180 pages. But if you read that, you'll see that they've been running this play by play. We're 5 years behind.
That exactly what Jordan said, that all this stuff has been orchestrated a long time. It's nothing new. He said, even when you get into politics, all this stuff, it's just been orchestrated. And we're just the pawns of the plan of the game. And we're just walking around. And I use we because we're all in this together trying to figure it out, right? But once you start,
no, we're gonna flip the script, bro.
oh, there we go. There we go.
The script now. That's what we're doing. That's why we're here. We're gonna all flip the script on that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put you guys out, and then so I can close out in 1 minute and get out of here. We actually went an hour and a half longer than I wanted, but I enjoy it. I love what I do, and I love the people I do it for. So that means I love you and this audience and everything from there. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to y'all soon. Right. And Daryl, I'll talk to you, Rob, afterwards. And Daryl, you're up a little late. I will call you once I pack up and head toward the house. And then Glass Close, we'll talk as well. So, all right. Okay.
All right. Peace.
All right. So it was a good show tonight. And definitely as we do what we're doing and everything else, and those are people of that inner circle. That is a whole different ball game other than just having access. But if there's something you want to be part of an inner circle and you feel that you're going to start a podcast or something later, then you might want to have access to the truth and stuff that, and again, I got an extra copy of this, and it is in my, what's the word I'm looking for? It is in my safe deposit box as well. All of those things. And it's just one of those things that we would do. So, but again, I love each and every one of you. And to my haters, if you're watching me, you can hate me and don't even know me, but I can still love you, and I will continue to love you no matter what. So that being said, it's been a pleasant pleasure. Don't forget to come here Friday. And again, also get access to the Jordan Maxwell stuff and more. I'm just starting out with his archives and from my personal stuff that will teach us all. Love each and every one of you. Good night to you, each one. And I'll see y'all back Friday. And then once again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I will be here. Good night.
Peace and harmony. I think we're being set up for something very serious and very big by some very powerful secret societies that very well could have extraterrestrial or otherworld intelligence guiding it. I am very fearful for the world we live in because we bought it hook, line, and sinker, and all over the world we have accepted the authority as truth rather than truth as the authority. It is going to require intellect, knowledge, study, and making a stand for the first time not to accept the things which your government gives you, which your religions give you, and which the authorities give you. Because as far as I'm concerned, I have a very big problem with anyone called an authority, because they're always...